Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I am here with Mr. David Navarrete. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on this.
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Loving that hair.
Thank you. I woke up thinking it wasn't going to be a good hair day, but it worked out.
It looks perfect.
Thank you.
So, David, you are a filmmaker.
Yes.
And you produce videos also.
Video producer for my company called Moneta Design.
Okay, okay. So, David, where are you originally from?
I'm actually from Arizona.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Woo, woo. I am also.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's hard. Growing up, I thought everyone's from Arizona,
We thought that.
That's all I know. But now that I'm in an entrepreneurial world and filmmaking, people are coming in out of state. It's hard to find those people that are natives. So
yes, we're out there though.
Yeah, we're out there.
We're out there. Yeah. It was funny. I used to work with a lady that went to the same high school that I went to, which was strange. I'm like, I don't know you. Look, I didn't see you at my school.
I know. I'm trying to remember everybody. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome to really meet filmmakers and people that are actually native to Arizona.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So, being a native of Arizona, when did you get into filmmaking?
Well, so originally.
And I asked that question because I remember being younger, we didn't hear about filmmaking. I mean, we watched television and things like that. We heard about theater, but we didn't hear about filmmakers.
There was not much to know about it. Just know the actors. I thought the actors were making the movie. The actor's the only one who's involved in the movie. I didn't know the whole production and everything that went on. A whole army creating these beautiful movies. But I've always loved to tell stories since I was younger. My dad was a big storyteller. Every Christmas, every holidays, just sit us down and tell us stories. And I kind of picked up on that. But originally, I wanted to go to the army, and that didn't work out. Then I said, I'm smart enough. Let's become a doctor. I want that high status. I want a very nurturing type of person. I want to help people. And graduating with my bachelor's in biology from ASU, started shadowing a few doctors, and I noticed that the industry was very insurance-based. And It was ran by the insurance, and not as much as you wanted to help people,
right?
The insurance wouldn't let you. If they don't have insurance, if they can't afford it, you have to turn them down, and that broke my heart.
You know what? It's funny that you say that because we have a very similar background. When I was getting prepared from graduating from high school, I wanted to go into the Navy. I mean, I was meeting with recruiters. Mm-hmm. But my darn mom, she's talked me out of it and scared me out of it. So I decided not to. I shouldn't have listened to her, but I did.
I feel like in being where I'm at today, I feel like whether you believe in the universe, God, anything that you believe in, I think it's guiding you towards the right path because I've had so many left turns and right turns to take me to where I'm at that I really thought, this is where I want to go. Why am I being forced to go another direction?
Right.
But I think it was just a blessing that, they found out I needed back surgery. I couldn't go to the army. The medical, breaking my heart, feeling like I couldn't, put my heart into that.
Right.
Which was actually tough because everybody invested time and money into my education. I have a wife and my son who, stood by my side and up late nights studying every night,
But you know what? That was a part of your journey. And you've always loved storytelling from what you're saying.
Yeah.
So this is a part of your testimony for you to tell.
I believe that.
Yes, this is definitely a part of your testimony. So you've always loved storytelling. So tell us about your first experience in filmmaking.
First experience was.
Did you officially work on a set, or did you?
So the official first set was actually with Joe. We worked on Parole, and I didn't know anything about what every person's role in a crew was.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing that was, eye opening, and I immediately fell in love with it. But creating videos, just that creative process, I had it since I did little videos with my cousins at home with our little toys, creating stories with our little toys, and kind of what they do on TikTok now.
Right.
Where they just play with toys and stuff. But being on set there was magical to me, seeing
Oh.
everybody come together.
You know what? Technology has changed a lot of things, but and growing up, we did all of that stuff without technology. I remember staging plays in our backyard. We did all of that stuff without technology. So you've been doing it for a long time, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very intuitive with how a story should, come to be, and how structure a story, which is how I broke through into the commercial world, because
Okay.
not a lot of people are telling stories in their
Right.
videos, and if they are, they're up there charging $50,000 to $100,000 for this strategy in the commercial videos. So down locally, there's no one doing it. Everyone's just pressing a button, recording, and then doing what the client wants them to do.
Right. So would you say some of the better work in your opinion is from someone that actually is proficient in telling stories?
Yes, yeah, because stories is something that I don't think is going away and has been here for years and years, just back to our ancestors where we were cavemen, and we share stories. This is how we've been able to evolve and keep our legacy going through
Hmm.
stories.
Right.
And now we have this visual medium that we can use, and video now, like you said, technology has advanced so much that anyone with an iPhone can be a filmmaker.
Right. That's
um,
true.
but what takes skill and what won't go away is telling a
Up
good
here.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about one of your most memorable stories that you've created.
One of the most memorable stories is my first short film, which was The Storyteller. And I just picked that name just because I want to be that storyteller, but it's based on my dad, who's a retired colonel in the army.
Okay.
And he came from Mexico, not knowing anything, none of English. He didn't know, you know, anything about, how to get a job, all that stuff. So he was just taking jobs and jobs, and um, I think he landed an opportunity to go in the army, and he had so many struggles, basically.
Hmm.
So the short film is revolved around the Chinese practice of kintsugi. Have you heard of that?
I haven't,
So
but
kintsugi
I will
is,
look it up later.
yes, kintsugi is when a vase breaks, instead of throwing it in the trash, they actually glue it back together with gold,
Oh,
and it
okay.
creates a piece that's more beautiful than it originally was.
Oh,
So that philosophy is, when something's broken, it's not trash. It's
uh,
actually, it becomes more beautiful than it originally
oh,
was.
oh, I like that.
So the short film that I made was my dad growing up with events
Mm,
that's happening, and
mm-hmm.
in the skin, there became cracks every time something happened to him.
Oh,
So it's very close to my heart. It wasn't the best film. It was my first short film, but the
but it's
message
the
is,
most memorable.
it was the most
Yes,
memorable.
and that came from your heart.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you, as a storyteller, you are now working with commercial companies to create to tell stories for their business. Is
Yes.
what you do.
Hmm.
Can you give us an example, if you're able to talk about one um, commercial video that you helped to create?
Um, okay, I can talk about one where he's trying to become more of an influencer and help people to tell them, you don't have to stay where you're at. You can overcome it and become, successful, rich, whatever you want, whatever your dreams are. And the way we told the story is taking them on a journey through the hardships that he went through, and everything, camera angles, locations, um, color grading, everything plays a part in the story. So we took him to an abandoned warehouse where everything's torn down, but he's wearing a nice suit.
Mm,
Just the contrast of like where he's at, but where he is, presently. Um, all that plays a part in telling that whole story. The music, the score, all that, the sound design. Um, in the end, you see that transformation from him going to that warehouse to where he's at now, and that's just how you play that story.
so was this for a commercial
It
or?
was for his own website, social media that
Oh,
he's using it
okay.
for.
Okay.
For some of the commercials, I'll tell you my secret sauce of how to structure a commercial. you start with the hook, which is the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
The hook is the most crucial part because if you don't hook them in the first 3 seconds of commercial and ad, you lose them.
That's true.
Yeah, you don't want people don't want to watch ads,
Right.
So you got to hook them. Then, secondly, you want to introduce a problem, and that problem is something that your business solves. So you introduce that problem, you aggravate that problem next. Tell them if this goes unchecked, what's going to happen. Then, once you aggravate the problem, you introduce the solution, which is introducing your business. Once you introduce your business, you talk about the benefits, why your business is different from anyone else. Why should they go with you? If you want to add some testimonials after that, that's great. And then finally, your call to action. What should they do after watching your video? And that's a perfect structure to a story in the commercial. Yes.
So the whole plan could really be 30 minutes, but to make how long, a 10-second commercial?
I would say for commercials, no longer than 60 seconds.
60 seconds?
Attention spans are so short.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. If you think about some of the commercials we watched, like you were talking about, you have to get their attention that quickly.
3 seconds.
Just like if you're at home during the day, you see those darn lawyer commercials all day long.
It's hard to make them sexy. It's
right.
hard. Yeah.
But they do things now to get your attention, even if it's like a loud boom or they're doing something to get your
Explode through a
attention.
wall.
Yes. So I totally understand what you're saying. So you have a short film that you also worked on. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. It's actually called Date Night Fight. And it was on every short film that I work on, I want to improve on my filmmaking skills.
Sure.
And this one was a little more VFX heavy. And the premise of the video is really fascinating because it's about two couples on their date, and it starts out, average date coming out of like a back alley of a restaurant or a club. And then they're confronted by two thugs. Mm-hmm. And one of the thugs is like, "Give me your purse," tells the lady. And then the guy's, big and buff, and, he looks intimidating. He's like, "I'll protect you." Like he's there for her. And then as soon as the music and the climax starts to, make him seem like the hero, he just gets hit on the head and he just falls to the ground. So very nice comedic timing there.
Okay.
And then what we find out is that she's actually a pro wrestler.
Okay.
And I used to be a pro wrestler. So
okay.
I reached out to her. I said, "Hey, will you be in this film? You're perfect for it." So she's the hero.
Okay.
She has a magic purse.
Well, don't tell too much because you brought a clip from that, right?
I did.
So
actually.
Let's take a look at it first, okay?
Yeah.
We don't want to give it all away.
Okay, you're right.
You heard what he said, princess.
Toss that bag over here.
Okay.
Yo, where's she?
Yo, behind you.
Did we win?
Aw, with me you always win. Come on, we gotta go now.
You won't believe what I just saw. I hope.
That was funny.
Yeah. Like I said, it's really funny because at the end, even the guy's like, "Did we win?" Like, and she's like, "Of course, babe, we won.
Make him feel good.
Make him feel good. Even though he got knocked out, he does not know what's going on. But it's cool to see, like, she has a teleporting bag that she can like fight people with.
So as a storyteller, David, where do you pull from?
From, putting myself in other people's shoes and thinking, how would I react with my own experiences? How would I react to those certain situations? For example, someone losing a loved one. You think about those losses in your life. If you haven't lost a loved one, you can imagine how it is to lose your own loved ones. just going through those experiences in your life, trying to remember those hard
Right.
times and not letting go of what's the bad feelings, but holding it on to bringing it back up
Oh, okay.
for those.
Do you think, I mean, as a storyteller, I mean, do you ever think in your mind that, am I going to run out of stories?
My ideas just are coming constantly. I have my notes on my phone. I have a book at home where I just constantly write notes. I know George, like I always have ideas. I'm constantly telling him like I want to do short films. I want to do this and that and this and that. And
There's just so much material
there's
out
so
there and the
much.
things
And-
that come to you.
and I have such a big imagination that I feel like the stories are just gonna keep.
I
going
love
down.
that.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the most positive thing to put in your head is that I have a big imagination, and then it'll continue to come
Mhm.
to you because we live in a big world and there's so much going on.
Yes.
That's a great thing.
And I used to actually get bullied for being too imaginative.
Mm.
My head always in the clouds, forgetting things.
You still get bullied?
Yeah,
Now you get bullied?
I have to thank my wife because she really helped me, tone down the weirdness and make it approachable for people to approach me.
But you know what? And this is something we spoke about on one of our other shows is that as entertainers, actors, filmmakers, it's okay to be weird.
Yes, it is.
It is because our weird is what gives others something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what brings out these amazing movies that we watch on television because someone was weird, and weird isn't always a bad thing.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
It's like, yeah. And I didn't understand that at first because, growing up weird, you kind of become lonely. People, like, especially in high school, everyone wants to be this certain type of person, right? And being
That
weird doesn't.
that so-called popular person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And I remember it was, growing up wanting to be just my way, like just being however I want to be. I remember asking, "Can I go to the parties?" And I'd be like, no, he said you're kind of weird." And I was like, and it would be my friend telling me this. I was like, "Why are you gonna tell me?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, he said you're the bad weird." And I was like, "What does that even mean?
What is the bad weird?
What's the bad? Is there a good weird? How do I get?"
So yes, embrace and love your weirdness because you have a lot to share with the world.
Thank you.
That is when you don't embrace it, in my opinion, you allow people to put you in a box. And if you're put in a box, you're not able to share and to create and tell your stories the way you want to because you have someone putting you in a box and telling you who you are.
Yeah.
And how you should act or how you should create or how you should tell your stories. And you shouldn't allow that to happen.
Yeah.
So even as you're a storyteller, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh man, I am not stopping anytime soon. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna whatever life has to offer. I'm going after it.
Good
I
for
am,
you.
and the more I realized, trying to be a doctor, having all that, status and what I thought doctors had a lot of money, which now I'm thinking entrepreneurs can have more,
Mhm.
not even going to school, but that's another topic.
Mm.
The more I have, the more I'm able to give, and that's really I don't need much. I'm not
Right.
very materialistic. I don't need too much things, but if I have enough for just me and my family, all the rest I can start giving out and helping others. So
Well, you seem like you still have a strong passion for the medical industry. Do you do any storytelling for create any content for the medical industry?
I have a few clients that are in the medical industry, and I'm doing some projects with them. But yes, and it's fascinating because that teaching and informing patients, informing them that there's other options because technology is advancing so crazy, and I think
Sure.
soon whoever's alive today will live on forever because it's how technology is going. Yeah.
What about in filmmaking as far as creating content for films for medical? I mean, let's say like Grey's Anatomy. I'm just going to toss something like that.
Yeah, that would
Have
be.
you thought of creating anything like that?
I haven't, but you know what? My short films and all my creative passion projects all have some type of medical,
Oh,
information
okay.
in them, which whether it be the characters have a mental illness that maybe a lot of people aren't familiar with, or
Right.
they have a disease or something that
Okay.
really adds to the characters. Because I'm big on character development. If you can't connect with the characters, there's really
Right.
no story either.
That's true. That's true. So, is there any new projects or anything coming up for David?
Yes, well, actually, for my business, Moneta Design, we have something for people, an entry level service called Story Bites,
Okay.
which is going to revolutionize everything. Everyone I've talked to said, "Wow, I can't believe you've done that." It's creating a whole month's worth of content for businesses
Oh,
in a
okay.
single day,
Hmm.
and it's unheard of. And it starts at $7.99. People are, going crazy for it. So that I'm coming out with commercials for that
Oh,
soon.
okay. So, just explain a little bit more about what the story bites are. So, this is something they can utilize for making commercials with, or
They
what?
can use it's based on the premise of creating a stock footage library personalized to their business.
Oh,
So
okay.
instead of going online finding stock footage of someone on a computer, someone on
Oh,
Zoom,
okay.
someone on this, we
Okay.
record the owner or their employees standing next to the building. We
Oh,
create that
okay.
stock footage library for them, and they use it in their commercials as B-roll, voiceover on top of
Oh,
it,
okay.
things like that.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That is great.
Thank you.
How much time they're going to save,
Yeah.
money they're going to save. Just looking for someone to create this content when
Yes.
they have a month's worth at a time.
hmm
So where can our audience find you?
Um, I have a website called monetadesign.com, MONETADESINE and then Moneta Design, social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was such a pleasure having you here, and
Thank you.
I learned so much from you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us here at Desertwood Days, and I will catch you next time.